What we'll be going through are two specific options, the BETS module, Buildsoft electronic tendering system, and a function called update trade rates. Both of these options are used in the production of tender documentation, and the update trade rates is used to manipulate figures. What I'll do is just a brief explanation for those who aren't familiar with the GoToMeeting control panel. You'll have it will be displayed at the top right-hand corner of your screen. You'll see a little icon, an orange icon with a white arrow pointing to the right. If you click on that, it will hide the control panel over to the right-hand side, so you can see the majority of the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to begin here by running Buildsoft as far as the job manager screen, and what I have here is I have two jobs, Block D and Block C. Both of those we'll use. One we'll use for the BETS module, and one we'll use for the update trade rates function. Sorry, just one other thing on the GoToMeeting control panel. There is a little bit of feedback from the speakers your end for me and other attendees, so I'm gonna mute you guys. If you need to ask a question, there is a little chat box down the bottom right-hand corner of your GoToMeeting control panel. So if you type in your question there and send it, you have the option to send it to me or all. It'll pop up my end and I can address it as we go. So I'm just going to mute you all. Okay, and what we'll do is we will firstly, as I say, have a look at the BETS module, which is short for Buildsoft electronic tendering system. So I'm going to open up the job Block D by just highlighting it and clicking open. I'm in as far as the job summary screen, and firstly, just to recap from the first webinar, Tender Analysis 1, on the coding options, or resource coding, rate coding files and how they're created. In the job manager of any screen, using the file drop-down menu, you'll see four options: View Q, Q2, OR, and OR2. We're going to be using the rate codes. So in here you can set up a code and a description of that code to allow you resource your rates or descriptions in a job. As you can see, I've set up simple code 10,000 concrete, 1001 supply, labor, groundworks and steel partitioning. These are completely user definable by yourself, and it's really specifically allowing you to be able to group specific items together into like groupings. So we touched upon creating these rate code files in the first webinar, so I'm not going to go hugely into this, just to say also that there will be some support documentation and a link to the video of the webinar sent to you once all three webinars on this topic are completed, which will be tomorrow lunchtime. So the code files are established, and in the code files you simply set up a code and a description of what that grouping should be. As you can see, this is the code file I've set up. So that is a essential part before you begin using the BETS module. So what I'm going to do is just highlight the icon, the BETS icon on the button bar at the top. So the very first thing you do to activate the BETS module is come to your job summary screen and click on BETS, the BETS icon. You'll get a confirmation that the BETS facility is now turned on for this job and will automatically close when you shut the job down. So to begin coding your items into like packages, I'm going to drill down behind this substructure section here by double-clicking, and at this point what I can do is I can highlight the section of the job that I want to send to a particular package. Now what I'm using to highlight it here on the left-hand side is the line numbers. I'm clicking on the first one, then I'm holding down the left mouse button and dragging down through the section of the bill that I want to send to my first package. Now there are a number of ways you can highlight. The way I've just described there, which is a consecutive range. you can use this button up the top left-hand corner to highlight everything in the trade, or you can use the control key to highlight non-consecutive items. And what I mean by that is if you highlight the first item, hold the control key down, you can highlight the 5th, 10th, 15th, and so forth. But in this case, I'm just going to highlight in the substructure section this excavation and earthworks section. So once I have it highlighted, you click on the BETS module, and up will pop the code selector. And in the code selector, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this substructure excavation and earthworks part to groundworks. So you can see I highlighted my groundworks code here, and when I double click on it, the code itself will appear in this code selection box here. There are two options above that then, set or append. Now, set allows you to set the code and have it as the only code for these particular items. Append allows you to be able to append the descriptions, append the code to something you may have already assigned the code to. So if you want multiple code items, and you've only coded it initially to one code, you can highlight that same section and use the append option to put a second code to those particular items. So I'm going to select the set option and then save the selected code. And what that has done is it has assigned the code. You can see at the top here, I've got a trade code 20,000, and it is assigned. If I move down through the descriptions in that, you can see the code file, the trade code is assigned to all of those particular items in that excavation and earthwork section. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the concrete work section of substructures, and I'm going to send this particular section of the bill to two separate packages, concrete labor and concrete supply. So again, what I'll do is I'll highlight the first line. Whilst holding my left mouse button down, I'll drag down to the bottom. Once I have what I want highlighted, I simply click on the BETS icon again, and then I can select concrete supply, code comes up, concrete labor, code comes up. Select set and click OK. And again, as before, when you highlight the particular descriptions that you've assigned to the particular packages, you'll see the trade code that has been associated with those descriptions displayed in the title bar at the top. So again, that whole element is done. The top section to one trade, the bottom section concrete work to two particular trade packages. So I'm going to come out of that section and into the internal walls and partitioning. And this whole section I'm going to send to a trade I've set up called steel partitioning. So I'm going to highlight everything using the button up top left. Click on the BETS again, and I'm going to set this to steel partitioning. So again, double click on my code. It comes in to my code selection box. Select set and click OK. And as before, all of those descriptions now have the trade code assigned. So as you can see, there are my two elements done and dusted. So what I need to then do is on the job summary, click on my BETS module. Now I already have one selected here, but what I'll do on this send out tender list, which is the BETS main screen, what you can do here is you can use the supplier database to create yourself a list of trades and the subbies of suppliers associated with those trades. If you were in the Tender Analysis 1 webinar, you would have come across this same database function which is used for the subcontract comparison module. It is combined. It is both used in BETS and in the subcontract comparison module. So the detail that you would set up in here will also be available to you should you have the subcontract comparison module. So what I'm going to do is just click on the View Subbies button, and You must establish again this yourself. I have set up trades, concrete, steel partitioning, groundworks and labour. Behind concrete, I have set up 2 suppliers. The minimum amount of information you need is a code and a name. However, at the top here, you can sign in as much more detail as you need. You can see I've filled in mobiles and addresses and so forth. One other mandatory code here is to assign a trade code to the particular supplier. So I'll just click on this trade code. Up will pop my codes, and I've associated concrete supply with both of these particular suppliers. So to select the suppliers to send out a package to, you simply use the line numbers on the left-hand side. Again, you can highlight as many as you need. I'm just going to highlight the 2, and then you use the transfer supplier icon to transfer those suppliers from your supplier database onto your send out tender list. So I'll just hit that option, close it off, and those 2 will then appear on my send out tender list. Now, what you then can do is you can create a PDF document based in the bill format, including those items that you have included or highlighted in the concrete supply. Now, just to say, at this point, you would need a PDF writer, which is a lot different to a PDF reader, which allows you to be able to read PDFs. To create a PDF, you must have a PDF writer. Now, the best one on the market is obviously Adobe Acrobat Professional. However, there are a number of free PDF creator